One question a lot of people ask me is the pancake stretch easier or harder than a side split? Being the pancake stretch, this position here, where I fold my trunk in between my legs, and a side split, this position here, where I spread my legs wide 180 degrees. I'm the flexibility guy, Coach Elia, and in this video I'm going to answer to the question, which one of these two is harder, a side split or a pancake? Let's go. First, I must say that the muscles involved in these two positions are almost completely identical. The major muscles involved are the adductors, the muscles you have here in the inner part of your thighs. And among their functions, the most important one is hip adduction, so they close your legs together. Now, the fact is that the more you spread your legs apart, the more you spread your adductors, but not only that. As you approach the 180-degree angle, you stretch your ligaments, your connective tissue, and your capsules you have inside of your hip joint, making this position here really hard to reach, as this is an extremely open angle of 180 degrees. The pancake stretch is different than a side split, even though they may seem kind of the same position. First, even though there's not like a precise angle your legs should form in a pancake, we can say that that angle is not a 180-degree angle, otherwise this would be a side split, right? When I get into a pancake stretch, I move my hips in a position called flexion, which is different than abduction. Abduction is when I spread my legs apart. Flexion is when I fold my trunk toward my legs, and vice versa eventually. So in a pancake, your legs shouldn't be spread 180 degrees apart, okay? Way less than that. We can say that the minimum you want to spread your legs apart is 90 degrees, so a 90-degree angle in between your legs. And you can also take your legs further apart than that. In a pancake, the most important thing is that I want to drive my belly, my chest, and my thorax toward the floor until I can touch it with the entire trunk, the front part of my trunk, all the way flat on the floor. This is considered a flat and correct pancake position. In a pancake stretch, we have two movements happening at the same time, namely hip flexion, trunk toward the legs, and hip abduction. Your legs are spread wide apart because they're not close together, okay? You're spreading your legs apart. Now, we have already seen that in hip abduction, when you spread your legs apart, you stretch your adductors mostly. While when you flex your hip, when you bring your torso toward your legs, you stretch a different group of muscles called the hip extensors. And with hip extensors, I mean your hamstrings, your glutes, and again, a little bit, your adductors. Now, the pancake is such a strange position because unlike a side split where I must have my legs spread 180 degrees in order to stay in a side split position, in a pancake I can change the width of my legs. And the narrower my stance is, the more I focus the stretch on my hip extensors, so on my hamstrings and on my glutes, and less on my adductors, even though the stretch on your adductors will always be present in a pancake. But the more you spread your legs apart, the more you focus the stretch on your adductors, and the less you focus the stretch on your hip extensors. A side split is generally harder than a pancake stretch because you need this kind of extreme angle on your hips. 180 degrees of hip abduction is quite a lot. Whereas in a pancake, you don't need this kind of extreme angle, even though you still need the flexibility to get a pancake, okay? But I must say, these two kinds of flexibility are just different. In a pancake, you flex your body forward and you use some kind of flexibility, whereas in a side split, you use pure hip abduction, and this kind of flexibility, generally speaking, requires more time to be developed, and this is why a side split is harder than a pancake stretch. Now, if you take a look at this position here, you can say that I have my legs spread 180 degrees, but at the same time, I'm touching the floor with my belly and with my trunk. So this is technically both a side split and a pancake. And what does this tell us? This tells us that if we can do a side split, which is substantially harder than a pancake, we can do a pancake as well because we have the flexibility, more than the flexibility we need to do that. The reverse, though, is not true. You may be able to perform a pancake stretch, but that doesn't mean you're able to perform a side split because a side split is harder. But take into consideration that developing a pancake stretch may be really useful to prepare your body for a side split and to build the flexibility you need to get there. In conclusion, the side split is substantially harder than a pancake because the lower body flexibility you use in a side split is extreme, whereas in a pancake that kind of flexibility is not that extreme. But these two positions are deeply connected, so you can use a pancake to develop a better side split and vice versa because they work approximately on the same muscles. That said, I hope that everything is clear now and that you can enjoy your practice now that you know the differences between your pancake and your side split position. Remember that if you want to develop your pancake and your side split, you can check out my Flexibility Guy app where you can find all the programs and tutorials you need to take your flexibility to the next level. And you can do that by clicking on the link in the description down below. With that said, thank you so much for staying with me today. Have a nice stretch and see you in the next video. Bye. Hey, if you want to improve your legs, hips, lower body flexibility in general, and you also want to master the splits, in this book you can find all the exercises you need. This is called Split Sacking and you can find it on Amazon right now.